Hello everyone, my name is Kidibone and I'll be presenting about the solution-focused brief therapy, which is abbreviated as the SFBT. Firstly, I will do the introduction. Secondly, I'll focus on the key concepts. And lastly, I will do the therapeutic process. The SFBT was developed by DeShazer and Beck in the 1980s. It can be defined as a future-focused, goal-oriented approach to brief therapy. This approach was extended upon the findings that the attempted solution to a problem would often prolong the problem rather than solving it, and also that it is not always important to understand. The key concepts of the solution-focused brief therapy are as follows. The first one is the unique focus. Secondly, positive orientation. Thirdly, looking for what is working. Fourthly, the basic assumptions. And lastly, the characteristics of brief therapy. The unique focus of the SFBT puts its emphasis on the assumptions that people can be fixed in unresolved past conflicts and be blocked when they focus on the past or the present rather than on the future. Therapists do not focus on how the problem occurred. They focus more on the possible ways of solving the problem. The SFBT is similar to positive psychology in a sense that it focuses on what is right and what is working for people than focusing on their shortcomings, weaknesses, and difficulties. The main assumption of the SFBT is that people already have the ability to resolve their life challenges. The role of the therapist is to identify what is working for the client and therefore encourage the client to continue with it, and also identify what is not working for the client and encourage the client to try something else. So basically, the SFBT puts its emphasis on what is working in the client's life. Some of the basic assumptions of the SFBT include that people who come to therapy are able to behave effectively. There are advantages to a positive focus on solutions. There are exceptions to every problem. Clients are invited to share another side of their story, and also clients can be trusted in their intention to solve problems. The characteristics of brief therapy includes a rapid working alliance between the therapist and the client, a clear description of treatment goals, an emphasis on the client's strengths, an expectation that change is possible and realistic, and also a here and now orientation while primarily focusing on in the therapeutic process, clients are given an opportunity to describe their programs. The therapist works with the client in developing well-informed goals, and the therapist also asks the client about those times when their programs were not present or when they were still less severe. At the end of each solution-building conversation, the therapist gives the client a summarized feedback. The therapist also encourages the client and suggests the things that the client might do before the next session. The therapist also evaluates the client's progress. With regards to the therapeutic goals, the therapist focuses on goals that are small, realistic, achievable, and that can lead to positive outcomes. The goals should also be stated in the client's language, and they should be attainable, concrete, measured, and they should also be controlled by the client. In addition, therapists should give clients an opportunity to express their concerns because clients must feel that they are heard and understood before they can start formulating their goals. Clients can formulate numerous number of goals such as changing the viewing of a situation and changing the doing of a problematic situation. The main therapeutic task is to help clients visualize how they would like their life to be different, and the function of the therapist is to ask the client questions such as, what do you hope to gain from coming here, and what steps can you take that will lead to those changes? The therapeutic process works better when the therapist and the client have a positive relationship. There are three kinds of relationships that may occur between the therapist and the client. The first one is the customer. This is when both the client and the therapist jointly identify a problem and a solution to work towards. And the second one is the complaint. This is when the client describes a problem but is not willing to act on creating a solution to that problem. In conclusion, the last one is the visitor. This is when the client comes to therapy because someone else, for example, a spouse or a parent, thinks the client has a problem. This client may not agree that he or she has a problem and may be unable to identify anything to explore in therapy.